The gross mishandling of the devastating funds has only confirmed this. He has reached his dead end.
Welcome back to BNN. Today we are peeling back the layers on one of Kenya's most feared yet enigmatic figures, Jimmy Wanjigi. Billionaire businessman or political kingmaker? Scandal kingpin or misunderstood genius? Well, stay tuned because this is going to be a ride. Alright, let's kick things off with the basics. Jimmy Wanjigi, this guy ain't your everyday businessman. He's a man who's danced on the fine line between the business world and the political stage, and he has done it with style. Born into a family already knee-deep in politics, Jimmy grew up surrounded by power. His late father, Maina Wanjigi, was a politician himself, a member of parliament and a cabinet minister in Kenya's first two cabinets.
He was the brain behind the free primary education.
Yes, African Director of Settlement. And he settled 1 million acres for Kenyans. Never took even 1 acre.
Jimmy's schooling, well, it all began at the prestigious St. Mary's School, Nairobi, rubbing shoulders with the elite, including none other than Uhuru Kenyatta and Gideon Moi, who were his schoolmates. Talk about being part of the inner circle from a young age. But Jimmy wasn't just satisfied with hanging out with the political class. This man had plans, big plans. So how did Jimmy make his first fortune? Garbage. Yes, you heard that right. In his 20s, Jimmy co-founded Beans Limited, Kenya's first private garbage collection company. He made millions out of an industry others wouldn't even touch. But garbage was just the beginning. Wanjigi quickly realized that the real money was in securing government contracts, the big ones. And so, with some well-placed connections, Jimmy found himself at the center of billion-shilling deals that made him the tycoon he is today. Think construction, real estate, financial services, you name it, he had his hands in it. And not to forget Anglo Leasing, the scandal that rocked Kenya to its core. If you were around during the early 2000s, this was the talk of every newspaper, radio station, and salon in the country. It was all about shady deals, inflated tenders, and contracts that were more fiction than fact. And guess who was named in the middle of it all? Our guy, Jimmy. And according to an article by Voice of America that dates back to 2009, Jimmy Wanjigi was among the 4 individuals who were banned from going to the US due to the Anglo Leasing scandal.
The majority of high-level corruption-related prosecutions, unfortunately, do not succeed.
Now, according to multiple reports, Wanjigi was claimed to be a key player in some of these big deals, especially where security contracts and government tenders were concerned. The Anglo Leasing scandal exposed how powerful businessmen like Jimmy allegedly used their deep political ties to broker multi-million shilling contracts. Jimmy's influence wasn't just limited to the boardrooms, he was also a political force behind the scenes, playing the most tricky game of all, politics. You see, back in the day, Jimmy was one of the quiet forces behind Uhuru Kenyatta's 2013 election victory. He brokered the deal between William Ruto and Uhuru, uniting their two parties to create the Jubilee Party. This alliance was a game changer as the duo faced ICC charges, and Jimmy, he was the one pulling the strings in the background, allegedly not wanting anything in return.
So you are not the cartel behind?
No. I did not seek them. They sought me, believing that I would help them out of their problem called ICC. Actually, I'm the one who did the MOU, bound the two of them.
You're putting two people together and all you want is peace in the country.
Never. If anybody can say that I got a financial gain out of Uhuru to government, no. In fact, if there's anything, they took away anything they found that I may have gotten from previous regimes.
But that's not all. Jimmy Wanjigi was also a key strategist in Raila Odinga's 2017 campaign. Yep, after helping get Uhuru into State House, he switched gears and threw his weight behind Raila. This, of course, didn't sit well with President Kenyatta, and what happened next was nothing short of chaotic. Let's fast forward to 2017. Jimmy found himself on the wrong side of the state's wrath. Picture this, a full-on 3-day assault by the police, like what we witnessed this year, 2024, on Jimmy's palatial home in Muthaiga, armed officers everywhere and media outside. A few years back, things got so wild that at one point a fake obituary appeared in the newspapers. The message was loud and clear, but Jimmy, he wasn't going anywhere. He took legal action against the newspaper and was awarded 8 million Kenya shillings. Back in 2022, after quitting the presidential race, Jimmy supported the then Vice President, William Ruto. And this makes you wonder, when did their relationship grow sour?
Yote yawezekana. Yote yawezekana.
Now let's jump to 2024. Just when you thought Jimmy Wanjigi had seen it all, he's back in the spotlight again, and this time for something even more dramatic. In August of 2024, Jimmy was arrested on accusations of illegal armed possessions. He has also been accused of sponsoring the Gen Z movement. According to reports, a raid was conducted at his residence, and the state slapped him with some serious allegations. But his lawyer, Willie Sotieno, was quick to point out that this was just another tactic to allegedly silence Jimmy, especially because he has been vocal on Kenya's growing debt crisis.
He's the one person who has been consistent in talking about our debt problem and demonstrating to Kenyans how debt is choking them. Obviously, the powers that be, those who are benefiting from the Ponzi scheme, which is our public debt or public finance, and they desire that Jimmy keeps quiet.
But Jimmy's political ties run deeper than just campaign strategies. Apart from his father, Jimmy mentioned Matiba as his political mentors and Raila Odinga as an old-time friend whom he once helped to dodge the authorities. This was during the Sabasaba movement, and he even claimed to have hid him at one point to protect him from being arrested.
Politically, I'm a real revolutionary. And one of my greatest teachers, apart from my father, was a man called Kenneth Stanley Jindo Matiba, who at the time was fighting for the second liberation. Example, I knew him through 1991. I even hid him at one point. We dressed him like a preacher to Mountain View, where he had a sister, or a Catholic sister, and a driver who took him from Nairobi all the way to Kisumu and across the border.
And in a recent interview, Jimmy made a bold claim. He was actually part of the team that masterminded the Standard Gauge Railway, SGR, during Uhuru's time in office. Now, this is huge. SGR is one of Kenya's most significant infrastructure projects, and he claims the budget was inflated from 50 billion to hundreds of billions, and thereafter he cut off ties with then Uhuru regime. According to him, that is when their so-called beef began.
Almost 400 billion between Mombasa and Nairobi. This is where we concerned. We said now it has changed from something being private money to taxpayers' money. And this will never pay itself off.
Well, Jimmy Wanjigi is still battling court cases even with this current KK regime. So what do you think? After everything you've heard, would you still vote for Jimmy Wanjigi if he runs again? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Plus, if you want exclusive content, make sure you join our Telegram channel. Link is in the description. Catch you next time.
You can see my family here. We have been through a lot of trauma. I want to thank them for standing with me during the last 2 or 3 weeks of what you call crooked Ruto's anarchy.